Hey, what's good, people? Black Mr. Wilson coming back at you with another impromptu stream. Today, we're going to talk about how, I'm sorry, black folks, but America is just not that into you at all. Like, for the past, 400 years, America is just not that into you. Uh, for some reason, we still hold on to hope and dreams that one day, we won't constantly be the first to do anything, despite we've been here for how many centuries. And if you wonder what centuries are, those are 100-year increments. But yeah, and despite being here for so long and doing everything, we're still geez. Oh fuck, I'll always fucking forget the goddamn phone. Sorry. Yes, Morty, I understand. But yeah, we keep being surprised that for some reason racism happens, and we literally have grown men crying. Like, this is not even a joke. Grown men crying that they are experiencing racism on the job. Like, we had a delivery guy get held up by some white dudes in a gated community, and they were harassing for the usual no fucking reason at all, even though he's obviously the fucking delivery driver, and he was delivering a package. But this motherfucker cried. He cried. I'm pretty sure you heard about the video on YouTube. He fucking cried. Why? I have no fucking clue. But he cried. And it's like, really? Also, we have FedEx drivers being fired. Come to understand, like, I'm pretty sure you saw the story on Facebook, but just know, like, these guys weren't hired directly by FedEx. They were contractors, which FedEx has a lot of subcontractors, but the subcontractors fired them. Peace, Ronan Black. How's it going? If you want in, just let me know, and I'll send you a link. But yeah, we have the guy fired, and people are like, "What do you mean he got fired for standing up to racism?" Then of course, black people are like justifying this, saying, "Oh well, they gotta protect their brand." I didn't know protecting the brand was firing people for encountering racism on the job, and those people standing up for themselves, not even getting violent, just not taking shit from obvious avid racists. And I have that video if you haven't seen it, so give me one moment and I'll share it for those of you who haven't seen it at all. So let's see. Boom, here we go. Hopefully you can see this and hear it.
You need to get your glasses back on. Yeah, I thought you were gonna whoop my ass too.
Story also that I'm reading from right now is this from Indy 100 from Independent. Is talking.
And just so you know, this is from the African Diaspora News Channel. Subscribe to them, because black channels that aren't about nonsense need all the help they can get. But yeah, this is from that, and I'm going to try and skip through and see some more, show you some more. Sorry about that.
About the fact that these black delivery drivers, as you very well know by now, claim that they were fired by FedEx for posting
me like that, like I'm some child. I ain't no little boy. I'm no little boy. I'll wait till the police come. You can record all you want, bro. I got you. Right there. I got That's you, where bro. His power at right there. That's your power. That's his power. That's where your power at right there. Where you going? Man, I ain't finna waste my time with you. You got my information. You got my information. They'll find me. They'll find me. You need to get your glasses back on. Yeah, I thought you were gonna whoop my ass too.
Story also that I'm reading from right now.
So we have that, and it must be the lucky day, because up next, here goes the guy that cries.
I'm trying to leave, and I got the super neighbor over here blocking me in. This is what I'm dealing with right now. This is who I'm dealing with. Napoleon, move out the way.
My name's David Stewart.
I don't care what your name is. Get out the way.
My picture, that's my name.
I don't care. Move out the way, sir. Please hurry up so you can have this a-hole move out the way so I can leave.
I asked you one question.
No, it's none of your business, and I answered. It is not.
No, it is my business.
Why? You the mayor of the cul-de-sac?
Yeah, I'm president of the Homeowners Association.
Okay.
These are private streets.
And apparently you need a gate code to get in here, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So how did I get in here?
I want to know where you're going.
It was none of your business. I'm going out. That's where I'm going, but you're in my
I'm
way.
not arguing with you anymore.
So then move out the way then. Tom, it's a bad day. I got the president of the Homeowners Association over here at this last stop, got me blocked in so I can't leave. And he called the cops because he wants to know where I'm going, and I didn't want to tell him. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with this right now. I'm trying to leave. What do you mean, why? None of your business? Did I deliver it to your house? It's because it's none of your business, that's why. You're asking questions. You don't need to ask questions. All you need to do is have your buddy move his car so I can leave and go about my business. How do I make a wrong turn into a gated neighborhood? I need to have a gate code in order to get in, right? That's common sense, right? So if I had a gate, if I've been here, I had a gate code, right? That's none of your business. Yet again, it sure as hell isn't. I'm not in the wrong. I don't know who this is. What's your name? Uh-huh. I'm in the wrong. Show me your badge then. Uh-huh. I don't give a what you got.
You do realize this is all private property.
You do realize this is unlawful detainment, right? You have absolutely no reason and no right to hold me here to block me in with your car. You don't need to know anything. The private property that you own is probably somewhere up there.
I own 1/18 of what you're sitting on. This street is private.
1/18 of what I'm sitting on.
City property. This street is maintained by the people that live in there.
Mm-hmm.
This is private.
And apparently one of the people that live here gave me a gate code. You're not helping me. You being nosy. That's all you're doing. You're trying to use privilege and you're not getting it from me. You can apologize too. It wasn't your fault, sir. I don't understand what his need or purpose was for doing that. Normally, I probably could have handled it a little different, a little better, but emotionally, I got a lot of things going on. So I never left my seat, never left the truck, never took my seatbelt off. I'm finally out of there. So I'm about to start driving seriously now. Thank y'all for being there for me. I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
So for whatever reason, they didn't actually show the part where he was crying. I was hoping you guys can see that, but he cried. He fucking cried. Honestly, in my opinion, he was too fucking nice, and he had a truck. You're not getting out the truck. You clearly had a left or right path to go around the fucking car. Back your shit up. You know, I've driven fucking semis, automatic and manual. They're not that hard to drive. He's probably in a fucking automatic because anyway, that's another fucking conversation. But he could have just went the fuck around him. And for some odd reason, he was crying. Like, why are you fucking crying? And why are you going through all of this with the guy that you have no obligation to? Why? I tell you, because as usual, for some reason, black people in this country feel that they owe white people an explanation for their own existence. And every year we get stories, like every fucking year we get stories, a handful of stories like this. Either people are being shot down for no good reason, just like with the latest hashtag, unfortunately, Ahmaud Arbery, and the year is not even over yet. So who knows how many more people are going to get gunned down or pulled over for bullshit like this. And every time this happens, black people are outraged and surprised. And it's like, come on, we've been here for how long? How long? You know, either in the back of your mind or you wrote it down somewhere in a fucking notepad or is in your pocket. You know effectively that you are pretty much fifth and sixth class citizens. So, yeah, like why we keep being surprised by this? If, you know, like I said, the last video, if like 2% of us at the very least wanted to go build somewhere else and create a, you know, something of our own, a nation, some would say, you think you would have to deal with this? Do you? And I don't want to hear the white man is Thanos and he's gonna come and he's gonna shut it down and you can't get away from him. And no, I'm sorry. Obviously, if you looked around, white people have their own shit to deal with. I doubt that they're gonna spend each and all the resources just to make sure you don't leave, or you know, just to ruin your starter nation right away. You know what I mean? Because if you looked around, you know, they still in the Middle East. There's still, now they have a Cold War with Russia, ramping up with China. So yeah, like if 2% of us were to go somewhere else, some would say Africa, pick a country. Some would say fuck it, you know, Central America, a fucking island off the Baltics or some shit. Anywhere else, anywhere, we wouldn't really have to worry about this. You can go. Imagine a black town, right, where you can deliver your goods for the company you work for that's black run. Or even if it's not black run, maybe we had some other people outside of being black came in and decided to move in and contribute taxes and fealty to the nation. You really think, you know, if you got fired for encountering maybe whatever races you came across that somehow made it into the nation or in your community, you think, you know, you would be fired for that, or they wouldn't be pushed back on the racists? Like even in fucking, was it Nigeria, I saw stories like they were burning down Chinese restaurants and shit because the Chinese weren't treating them right. So honestly, do you think maybe it's time to look for a plan B? I'm just saying. I'm just looking for a plan B here. You got dudes crying. You have us getting constantly gunned down every fucking year. There's at least a handful. There's so many names. I used to know almost all of them. There's been so many names and instances of shit like this happening. It's just hard to keep track unless you write down and make a fucking list. And honestly, like, I don't want to carry around a death note in my fucking pocket of black people that would, you know, gun down. Then the media spun it to where, oh look, he deserved it, or some right wing jackass, or, you know, pretend fucking progressive, like, well, you know, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, or maybe he, you know, like, they're all successful black run nations. Look at Rwanda. Check out the BIO channel on YouTube or Hollism channel on YouTube, or go to BAIOAfricstan.org in the description. They have a video talking about the experiences in Rwanda. So they are successful black run nations. And Rwanda rebuilt itself. Paul Kagame was able to rebuild, you know, that nation out of war torn fucking civil war, where as usual, it was the Belgians or some white hand came and was like, hey, you got a big nose. Hey, they don't have big noses. You with the big noses hate these other guys. You with with not the big noses hate the big nose people. And here's the weapons to do it. So yeah, like you can go and find successful black run nations and don't think you're really gonna do it here, because what happened every time we built a town, city, or anything here, it got blown up, destroyed, and anybody has any person that did that crime, have they paid? No, they haven't paid at all. Also with the look, all right. So even with the Native Americans, right? They got pushed on reservations in their own on their own land. And has anybody paid? No. Black people have been here, for how long? Before the natives, some say during the natives, and for some reason we really don't really try to look for anything else. I don't understand it. Then from that on to the political spectrum, for some reason we keep voting in lockstep with the same group of fucking people. I don't know why. Like the Dems, for example. Not even an example, just the Dems. Every 4 years, we vote in lockstep with the Dems and to get nothing at all, right? So this time, everybody's all in for Dementia Joe. And here's the funny thing. I'm going to put up something real quick. I'm going to share this real quick, just so you know what I mean and where I'm going with this. All right. Now, we have a list of things on both sides, the left and the right. Joe Biden's on the left, Donald Trump is on the right. For those of you just listening and not actually watching as well, you have Joe Biden, use racism to further his career. Donald Trump, use racism to further his career. Joe Biden voted for the wars in the Middle East. Trump supported the wars in the Middle East. Well, not really, because he did say before he registered as a Republican, and he was a registered Democrat, he did, speak about the wars in the Middle East and, spoke that fake populist right shit or whatever, fake populism shit. Like, yeah, we need to get out. And, he got in and carried on. Oh, shit, hit the mic. Carried on the same shit as the last admins. But, yeah, Biden voted with credit card companies. Donald Trump supports credit card companies. Biden voted for the Patriot Act. Donald Trump supported the Patriot Act. Now, here's the funny thing with the Patriot Act. Now, Trump he's a moron surrounded by the Council of Doom, right? He's the town idiot. But here's the thing. We see on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CNCB, right? The one or two of the 6 corporate-owned media outlets that Trump is a madman. We can't trust him. He's the most dangerous president, blah, 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 right? But they literally, when it came time for the sunset on the Patriot Act to happen, meaning it shouldn't be renewed at all, for some fucking reason, Democrats voted to renew it during an admin that Trump was in office, right? So what does that mean? They literally just gave supposedly the craziest dude ever to hold office spying powers. They gave him unlimited spying powers. Why? If he's crazy, why would you do that? All right, moving on. Biden crafted the crime bill. And there'll be another thing I want to share with you a little bit later about that. Trump supported the drug war. It also supported the crime bill. Biden voted with the drug war. Now, here's the thing. Trump is also crazy, but we still have a drug war. No Dem admins that I know of have really gotten rid of the drug war or really tried to stop it. Even in democratically run cities like, say, Baltimore, for example, it just became corrupt. Same thing with Detroit. And we already know the right-wing cities are already right-leaning cities. If they can hem up Negroes from the trees, they will, and sprinkle some crack on them. So that's a given. There's no questioning or point of questioning or bringing up really right-wing cities on that, because we know what they're about. Joe Biden doesn't support Medicare for all. Trump doesn't support Medicare for all. Funny thing, though, Trump when this whole COVID thing happened, I don't know if you guys actually keeping up or kept up with it. He outlefted the supposed left. He called for things like Medicare for all. Then I'm pretty sure one of his Council of Doom members whispered in his ear, like, the donors won't like that, so you got to retract that or just don't mention it again. And he hasn't, even though he said, a COVID-19 test should be free. So what did the Dems do? Nothing on that part at all. They weren't. You had motherfuckers like Cuomo crying about not having enough tests and stuff like that, even though Cuomo, for some reason, everybody think he's a hero because he talks tough on TV, when the fact is that he was cutting Medicare, Medicaid, and hospital beds at the thousands while a crisis was going on. And nobody can tell me that, he didn't know enough, because in Cali, one of the cities knew in January and took steps to shut down things and try and quell the spread of COVID. And Cuomo, I'm pretty sure if the West Coast knew, or a city in the West Coast knew, I'm pretty sure Cuomo knew about it. And he also acted slow as fuck. He waited till March, just like the moron on the right side. He waited just as long, and on top of it, cutting fucking needed services. All right, Biden takes millions from special interests. Trump takes millions from special interests. See what I mean? Like, they both do it. Joe Biden deported thousands. Trump deported thousands. Now, understand, people go, oh God, Trump put kids in cages. But a lot of people like to gloss over and just neg the fact that Obama built the cages to put the kids in. Like, he was so bad with deportation, he was called the deporter in chief, and Trump hasn't deported more than, surprisingly, as much as he called, Mexicans rapists and murderers and shit, and him and the other fucking shit, and called Nazis very good people or very fine people, Charlottesville, and you have the right wing thing again with the marching and shit, and motherfuckers saying Hail Hitler. Take a look at, shameless plug, listen to my podcast at podbean.com/Black Mr.Wilson. And you can even find it on Instagram at Black Mr. Wilson, or follow me on Twitter and follow the Twitters at the Black Mr. Wilson on Twitter. Check out my podcast. It's on Spotify and Apple iTunes. But besides that, you literally had motherfuckers screaming Hail Hitler. Then the dude tried to clean it up with Heil Whitmer from Michigan's governor. Yeah. So, but anyway, Biden was a part of an admin that deported so many people. His boss, who he couldn't remember his name, Obama, was called the deporter in chief. But for some reason, when Trump was just continuing the last admin's, setup, he's the monster. Obama also gassed people at the border. Trump did it too. All right, Joe Biden doesn't support net neutrality. Trump doesn't support net neutrality. Again, Biden was part of an admin where people had to pull his boss's legs and arms to not get rid of net neutrality. The whole, I don't know if you remember the whole SOPA deal. Then Obama, which is Joe Biden's boss, which Joe Biden didn't do anything. He's the VP. He's the first person to have the ear of the president. So I don't want to hear shit about, well, he's not the president. But what the fuck is he the VP for? What's the point of a VP spot if he can't get into the ear of the president? Net neutrality. Obama was like, well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should. No, people had to do all kinds of shit. And even Google and other companies got in on it. Like, we will not support this, and all kinds of shit was done up. So Obama was like, all right, I won't touch Title II and then the net neutrality thing. Biden was sitting by, didn't say shit. So he doesn't support net neutrality, which is pretty important. If you don't know what that is, I suggest you look it up. Trump, I doubt he knows what the fuck net neutrality is. He would probably say he doesn't support it because one of the idiots sitting next to him was like, yeah, don't do it. Then the whole Ajit Pai thing, he was a lawyer for Verizon. Then Obama appointed him head of the FCC chair, and Trump kept his bitch ass. So yeah, Joe Biden refuses to apologize to women he appropriately touched. Now people go, oh, well, Trump has so many women. Honestly, the left has killed Me Too. There is no more Me Too. It's not a hashtag anymore. It's a joke. And anybody posting a hashtag is most likely in irony. It's just, it's irony because the left literally had like killed it. Because when Trump was like grabbing by the pussy, everybody, oh God, he said that. When shit started coming out about Biden, right? You literally have people who proclaim themselves as feminists saying, I will eat. I would rather vote for a dude if he boiled babies and ate them. Matter of fact, I think I have that up just so yeah. Hang with me, and I'll play that real quick because it's important. You literally have people that was staunch feminists, so hardcore feminists, saying they would rather vote for a dude even if he boiled babies and ate them. That has not more is more than just Tara Reid that is accused of inappropriate touching. Like 8 other women came out and was like, hey, Biden got a little handsy. Matter of fact, matter of fact, what was it? Fuck, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But let's see. Let me share this real quick so I can just get out my thoughts real quick. All right. So
stunning moment.
that's the wrong fucking video. Hold on. Let me pull that other video up. Sorry about that. Thought that was the video there. But yeah, you have people even on Twitter like, yeah, I don't care what Biden said or what Biden did. Trump is so bad, mind you. Then you literally have people going out their way to try and smear Biden's accusers. Mind you, Christine Blasey Ford had way less evidence than Tara Reid. So there we go. How about that, folks? Let's share this. Stop that. Boom. There we go. Hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing the audio as well. Share audio. There we go.
All right, Crystal, what's on your radar?
Well, you may recall that earlier in the week, I argued Democrats had become exactly like the MAGA cultists that they claimed to hate. They were willing to overlook and justify all sorts of unconscionable and immoral actions in service of helping Biden and hurting Trump. Democrats used to laugh at those poor, stupid MAGA Republicans who would still vote for Trump even if he shot someone on Fifth Avenue. Now they have become exactly what they claim to hate. We're now reduced to the point where, yes, Joe Biden could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and Democrats would just argue that if you really think about it, Trump's failed coronavirus response has killed more Americans, so gotta vote blue. Because when a politician and an election is viewed as an actual nation and life-destroying existential threat, there's no limit to what you'll accept, what you'll justify, or what wrongs you yourself will commit in order to eliminate that threat. Well, folks, got a little bit of an update on that front because a writer at The Nation has just added some really important context to the conversation. In an article about why she does not believe Tara Reid, but even if she did, she really wouldn't care, Kathy Pollitt opens up with this line: I would vote for Joe Biden if he boiled babies and ate them. He wasn't my candidate, but taking back the White House is that important. Wow. Katha is really bravely exploring the outer reaches of the lesser of two evils philosophy and just what sort of atrocities it might justify. So following Katha's lead, let's just explore this a little bit further. So hypothetically, what if he ate boiled babies and shot someone on Fifth Avenue? Still lesser evil then? What if Biden put the same number of babies in cages as Trump, but he let them out one day earlier? Now, if Trump is literally Hitler, what if Biden committed a massacre but stopped short of full-on genocide? What do you think, guys? Because if there's one thing that's clear, moral relativism and abandonment of literally any principles is totally the way to convince the American people that you are worthy of holding power again. Now, Katha did respond to the criticism of her article, so I want to be fair and put that up. She says, most of the negative comments about my Tara Reid piece are from tender souls horrified by the boiled babies in the lead. Just think about that sentence for a minute. Some people don't appreciate dark humor and comic overstatement. Now, in fairness, I am less horrified than amused. Amused that Katha confirmed every word of what I argued earlier this week and that she would so blatantly say the quiet part out loud. I kind of respect it in a way. But Katha wants us to dismiss this line as dark humor and comic overstatement. Okay, fair enough. But her article is also literally making the case that sexual assault is not a problem, as a self-described feminist, by the way. So clearly there is some level of crime, violence, and atrocity that you are A-okay with. So where is the line? Seriously. More than sexual assault, but somewhere short of boiled babies? Really lay it out there for us, maybe in a future column, so that we can fully understand the depths of depravity that have infected pundit thinking in the Trump era. The funny thing is, Biden isn't even the nominee yet, so you really do have some other options available to you right now other than boiled babies. But, that's just me spitballing here. Look, there is no doubt about it. 4 more years of Trump are dangerous. Look at the moment we're living in right now. New report says that 36,000 lives could have been saved had we acted sooner on coronavirus. The feeble and immoral economic response has led to an economic calamity of mass joblessness that is doing untold damage to Americans across the country. The temptation to justify any and everything in service of ending the Trump era has never been greater. But it's still wrong. And it's not at all clear that it will lead you where you want to go. We've talked here before about the existential way in which Trump's election was viewed on the right. The famous Flight 93 essay where the author argued that it was worth throwing everything else to the side in order to storm the cockpit and defeat Hillary Clinton. He wrote, 2016 is the Flight 93 election. Charge the cockpit or you die. You may die anyway. You or the leader of your party may make it into the cockpit and not know how to fly or land the plane. There are no guarantees except one. If you don't try, death is certain. To compound the metaphor, a Hillary Clinton presidency is Russian roulette with a semi-auto. With Trump, at least you can spin the cylinder and take your chances. Now, as you know, I'm no Hillary Clinton fan, but the way that the right viewed Hillary was completely unhinged and absolutely insane. Like she was some leftist revolutionary who was going to do anything other than the same type of incrementalist bullshit of the Obama years or the first Clinton era. She wasn't going to usher in some era of rock solid Democratic dominance or hand the nation over to foreigners, as this writer claimed. Don't get me wrong. The same crappy corporate neoliberalism and warmongering is plenty damaging, for sure. But the country was not going to end. The conservative way of life was not going to be destroyed. In fact, conservative politicians did much better in terms of picking up seats under Obama than they have under Trump. You can easily imagine, though, the Flight 93 essay for Joe versus Trump from a resistance liberal perspective. It might read, another Trump presidency is Russian roulette with a semi-auto. With Joe, at least you can spin the cylinder and take your chances. You can imagine the specific arguments about the courts, the vague ones about undermining norms and democracy, and the ridiculous ones about how another 4 years of Trump means the destruction of liberal and progressive values for all time. In fact, this is essentially the argument that Katha makes, or the New York Times op-ed writer who proclaimed that she believed Tara, but she would still vote for Joe. I'm not here to argue about whether Trump derangement exists among liberals to a greater or lesser degree than Hillary derangement exists among conservatives. I'm just here to tell you that we've seen 4 years of Trump, and it totally sucked. But the nation did, in fact, continue. The Constitution did not, in fact, burst into flames. And 4 years of Biden doesn't look so great either. Call me crazy, but it certainly doesn't look worth abandoning everything you stand for to proudly back a boiled baby eater. Sagar, this is what is so ironic to me, is there was such contempt for people who would support Donald Trump based on that kind of Flight 93 thinking. The religious right in particular, right, where it was like, I think this was justified. Like, you have always said that the character and the morals of a leader really matters. But then the moment that you're faced with this choice, you just throw that out the window in order to justify it. Now they're doing literally the exact same thing. And that this writer was so upfront. And look, I know, of course, she's using hyperbole. But in an article where she is saying, I don't care if Joe Biden sexually assaulted, I am a feminist and I don't care. Just complete dispatching with whatever principles she held before. I think it shows the way that Democrats have come to mirror that, what they described as cult-like behavior of the Republicans under Trump.
So I would just say I think they've always mirrored it and that they've always secretly behaved that way. And again, I think I have said here many times, this is a very rational choice. Like if you think that, let's say you're a guns rights voter or something like that, there probably is an existential election for you. I mean, that's the thing is, I'll disagree. I mean, I very much embrace the Flight 93 thesis. And it's not about derangement of Hillary. It was much more about the liberal technocracy under President Obama and all of the social justice orders that they was implemented under them, the Supreme Court and so much of that. That matters a lot to the conservative disposition and the conservative way of life. And so from that way, it kind of was existential. I mean, in terms of immigration, you do know what you were going to get under Hillary Clinton. And it's pretty much the same as Barack Obama, which was mass legalization of millions of people. That's existential for a lot of people.
Barack Obama deported more people than Donald Trump has.
Okay, but he also legalized.
And he built the cages,
He legalized more people than he deported. So, I mean, that's something that matters, again, to a lot of people.
But here's the thing, and I get that.
Yeah.
And I get this dynamic now, but what you're saying is the road to literally justifying anything. If it can be slightly better than the opponent, I mean, you are laying out the lesser of two evils philosophy, like this very utilitarian. If Joe Biden puts one fewer babies in a cage, I got to be not just with Joe Biden, but I got to get my friends to vote for Joe Biden. Like I got to get everybody on board with Joe Biden. And I think that type of thinking, like I get the rationale. I get actually where Kath is coming from, even though she lays it out in this completely insane way, intentionally over the top way. But I think that is exactly the road to the hell that we are living in now, where we like hate each other, see each other as total, where truth is like completely abandoned. Everything is in the service of like the criticism that I get of like, why don't you spin every story in favor of Joe Biden, right? Basically, like that's the road to that kind of outcome. I think it is hell. And I think it is just totally destructive to the country.
Yes, I agree that it is destructive. And I honestly don't know how to get out of it because that is the truth is that,
that's true.
I mean,
it's not easy.
People are the ones who run things and they actually do look at people as their enemy. And so when people are coming and having to vote, they're like, look, I got to vote for whomever is the lesser of two evils because I literally feel as if I'm under existential attack. And I think there is a lot of truth to that. And we shouldn't discount how these people feel. I'm not saying I agree, but I'm saying one of the things that I see with the Flight 93 kind of ethos among the left, what I hate is what you said, is that they ridiculed Trump supporters and people on the right for the whole you could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and never sought to understand why somebody would ever feel that way. And because if you stop making people feel that way, you will have a better politics. But what they've done is actually quadruple down on that strategy and harden everybody into their partisan lenses. And so like you said, I mean, yeah, I agree it's the road to hell, but also like people shouldn't have to vote for self-sacrifice.
Right.
And that is actually like how people, and especially on the right. I mean, look.
Well, and here's the thing is too, like the critique is always stops with basically like in the most charitable, like basically Fox News and other right-wing media have led people to this Hillary derangement or to this like Democrat derangement where they've just lost their mind. And that's why they're behaving this way. And there is certainly there is a media propaganda component to this. There's no doubt about it. Like the chain emails that, my family members would send me like, what is all
right. So no, that's enough. Check out the Hill. They're not, I wouldn't say ultra progressive or left or really right leaning. As you see, Crystal Ball on the left, she is a little bit more what they call leftist. Sagar is pretty much he's right leaning. Sometimes they make sense. They don't always condone kind of crazy shit, but to the point of with the fucking Biden shit, you literally have people justifying voting for a cretin because Trump is magically worse. And how this connects to black people. Black people have been pretty much lockstep with the Democratic Party for decades and decades. And when we actually do our research, as we always should, do our due diligence before you pledge fealty to somebody or give them some kind of power over you before, and by way of vote or sending money, we should research people and what the hell has the Democrats really done other than ask for your vote and do nothing. So we have people, going, oh, well, harm reduction and babies and shit. But Trump, every election, every election cycle for president, at least, because usually the local ones, like for governor and senator, don't really get televised like that. People don't really care for some odd reason, but they just care way more for the president because they think the president is the end all be all, even though the president isn't the end all be all. There's still three branches of government, which people I think forget. But yeah, they go with the whole harm reduction philosophy, but then they either purposely disregard the past voting of their favorite empty suit, or they just don't want to know. So you get these people online every 4 years going, vote or die, vote or die. Then you go, all right, I'm going to vote. Then you say you're going to vote for somebody else, and black people lose their shit. So, but think about it though. If we had, our own nation, something, you think every 4 years we would have to go through this? Maybe we could learn the failings of America and this whole electoral college system, the fact that we have no election integrity, and that the UN reports that third world countries have better elections than America. Like Venezuela, the old so bad Venezuela has better election integrity than America does. If we controlled our own everything, would we have to complain every 4 years? Would we have to vote out of fear every 4 years? No. No, you wouldn't. Shit, we honestly right now, even if you're kind of like on the fence about building something else and controlling your own socioeconomic political surroundings, why not 5% of you form a black political party? Because even when I try and bring that up to people, it's just disregarded. It is disregarded. Like on the conversations Facebook I've had earlier, I pretty much refer to half the black populace, maybe a little bit more than half, 2/3, would fit right in with the Walking Dead. And I'm not talking about they would be survivors fighting off the dead. No, they'd be the fucking zombies, just looking for brains to consume, not gain anything from, just consume. So, like honestly, every 4 years, the black populace still controls nothing, but they fight, as the saying goes, tooth and nail for one side of the aisle, usually Democrats. The black Republicans are pretty much, they're not a new thing, but they're kind of rising a little bit. I'd say in the next 2 or 3 years, we'll see more of them voicing an opinion and getting up in the mainstream, whether it be online or even in the news or mainstream media, but they'll be climbing more. Because because the Democrats offer nothing, and too many people in this country thinking a vacuum on a binary choice. Well, yeah, the Green Party exists. You have a bunch of parties, they're just not in any prominence. Also, how are you gonna do it right here in a place where anytime somebody brings about the thoughts of a third party, anything, they smack it right down with all kinds of excuses? The system itself isn't even set up to have more than two parties. Or, well, they want to tell you it's two parties. When you actually look at everything, bipartisan efforts always screw the people. So it's more of one party. And think of it like the WWE. You have SmackDown, you have Raw, right? You people that remember the Attitude Era where Raw was the shit, then SmackDown started being real good, and then they used to have rivalries, but it was still two shows of the same company. That's the way the Democrats and Republicans are. They're two parts of the same show. It's a fucking show. Every time we turn around, one pretends to hate the other, right? Oh, far left extremists, oh my God. Then you have the one people, you're the far right fiscal conservatives and extremists. Then who gets duped? The people who would equate to fans or the voters. They're the ones holding up the signs in the stands for their team, my guy, my show. But when we look at it, especially with black people, when we turn around and look at it, you get screwed no matter who you're fucking shouting for. So maybe LIN, Land Infrastructure Nationhood isn't your thing, right? It should be. It should be something, at least for your kids, your grandkids, if you care about anybody other than yourself. But maybe that's not your thing. How about form an actual political party, not just a hashtag? Like the Black Lives Matter pretty much turned into a hashtag, right? How about go further than the hashtag and actually form a political party? Because you get a lot of people, oh, well, why don't you run? In addition, disingenuous tone, because even if you run, then they come with the excuses. Just like when you say, why don't you vote for an independent? Oh, well, they're not going to win because so many Negroes are focused on being on the supposed winning team that they can't think of anything outside of voting for one of the parties. So how about there's 40 million black people? That's enough to have if you get enough of them on board, that's more than in the population to actually start a legitimate separate party. So many people go, oh, no tangibles, no vote. Fine. No reparations, no vote. Whatever. Form that, take that energy you have in your Facebook groups and, watching people with the super chats that, that wrap themselves in American flags or somebody else, square-headed motherfucking horrible R&B music playing motherfuckers. Take that energy that you have for those people and actually form a political party. And another thing, so many of us look for fucking leaders. Like, I guess that's why the black church is so heavy, because Jesus and God is the leader, and they can just put everything, they can put all their weight off onto them, which is fucking ridiculous. How about, just think about it. Fuck having one leader, have a council of people, something, so that way people can't just attack one person and everything dies. Like, think about it. Bernie Sanders had the most grassroots support. This motherfucker collected more money than the DNC. He had more money in his war chest than the DNC, than all other of the runners for the presidential hopefuls combined. He had the most boots on the ground than anybody else. You have 40 million people. You think you couldn't create a party, a legitimate, viable party with a fund for that, to have boots on the ground to try and force your agenda to get passed? Come on. If you can't think of, oh, well, I can't move to Africa, it's crazy over there, we gonna do it right here. Are you even serious about doing it right here? Because you got motherfuckers crying in box trucks and shit, and other dudes getting fired by subcontractors, and it has to go viral for the main company to offer or rehire them. We get hashtags every goddamn day in the middle of the fucking street. He's getting gunned down. Or then we get the usual circulation of, oh, well, 2 years ago, he stole a Snickers. So obviously him standing on the corner minding his own business, he deserved to get gunned down. We keep having this. Like, 40 million people. Fuck your ADOS and your FBA bullshit. If you think you can't do it anywhere else, right? Because the white man is, he's God. And somehow you're going to do it right here. Why aren't you serious about doing it right here? 40 million of us. And if you count the world, like diaspora, even more of us. So there's really no reason why we couldn't do it all over the world. Why this couldn't be a satellite fucking nation and we have a FOB or forward operations base somewhere else. Because you have, like, you literally have people voting for dudes like Biden because Trump exists out of fear, but we're going to do it right here. But you're not doing anything other than every 4 years creating some, non-existent ultra threat that, oh my God, we're not going to survive another 4 years of insert name. Come on. Black people survived Gay Edgar Hoover, Lyndon B. Johnson, Reagan, Bush 1 and 2, and even Clinton, because you motherfuckers think Clinton, the first black president. Nah, he had a horrible drug czar. He pushed the war on drugs as well. Yeah, there was a surplus when Clinton left, but black people didn't. What did black people get out of that surplus? Oh, look, some more war on drugs, some more hashtags. Police brutality continued. Right? So you literally have Joe Biden, who pushed Ronald Reagan for the war on drugs. There's an article about it. Matter of fact, I'll just real quick just show you, just so you know I'm not bullshitting. All right, so here we go. The untold story: Joe Biden pushed Ronald Reagan to ramp up incarceration, not the other way around. Matter of fact, I'll put it in the chat so you guys can even take a look at it yourself. when you get a chance. I'm not gonna read that whole goddamn thing. So yeah, just copy all that. But yeah, people. Now we heard from the Hill how you shouldn't be pushing a guy that is a piece of shit as well, and the other side of that. And I've showed you videos of black people again being harassed, and you know yourself that every day there's a story, maybe not mainstream, but there's a story and there's a name, and every one of us can become a hashtag just for simply breathing. You can't jog, you can't sit at a Waffle House, you can't go to Starbucks, you can't deliver a package, you can't drive. Committing a crime or not, it is just illegal waking up, right? It's just illegal waking up. So I would say, think about another strategy. Doing it right here ain't really working out for us. Maybe, just maybe, Land Infrastructure Nationhood, join the BAIO. If you're new to this, if you're not new, share, like, and subscribe. But mostly share. Even if you don't subscribe, just share the video, share the website, so get some people thinking, because black people don't have to worry about surviving 4 more years of Trump, because doesn't matter who's in office. Biden isn't going to change the situation. What's he going to do? Nothing. You had a dude named Bernie Sanders who would have tried to pass policies, at least tried to pass policies that would have affected black people the greatest, because we're most hard hit about shit. But hey, Negroes didn't want that. They didn't care about the whole process of political presidency nomination. Now, all of a sudden, they just care about getting Joe Biden because Trump is such a crazy guy. So we got to push for a dude who rapes women as well and is a dementia patient and has to rely on his VP pick, which is insane. I don't understand why you would vote for a dude who cannot form a sentence and has to rely on his VP pick to carry the torch if he's nominated. That's fucking crazy. Where do they do that at? That's insane. That's fucking insane. Honestly, if you're gonna do that, Land Infrastructure Nationhood is not a crazy, thought at all. If you're pushing to vote for a dude, pushing everybody to vote for a dude who has to have his wife talk to him, or anybody else, questions his policies, and he has a history on a campaign trail of getting handsy with people that question him, or simple questions. His own supporters that showed up to his horrible, fucking, boring ass, non-inspiring town hall meetings during the campaign trail. He's calling people lying face, dog face, lying pony soldiers. If you're pushing for a dude like that, there's no excuse. There's no legitimate excuse you can give me or anyone else about how we can't have a nation of our own and run it. Honestly, you can't. There's nothing. There's nothing you can say to be like, yeah, we can't do that. What do you mean, Africa, or insert any other place? We can't do that. It's unsafe. Well, it's pretty unsafe in America. Police brutality is one of the top reasons black men die, like among medical conditions. So you're telling me that we can't, control our own nation and not have those problems, but continuing to stay here magically one day to get better 400 plus years, and Jesus ain't come back swinging low on his chariot. God ain't send any other sons down to save your ass, and nobody cares that you have a fez on your head. Shit, nobody cares that you have Cherokee, because all the Negroes are Cherokee now. Nobody cares about your good hair. Nobody cares that you have a Bentley. Nobody cares if you have money, because as we keep seeing, black rich people also get it as well. For some reason, a lot of us think, oh no, if I just get a lot of money, racism would just vanish. Well, the white liberal class would like you to believe that, but it is not true. It's just not fucking true. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how many monies you have under somebody else's system, you're still gonna, answer to them. That's why we get people complaining about, oh, why are these black celebs selling out? Well, we don't control any goddamn thing, so they can't really sell out to anybody. They just, being a coon like a lot of other people and surviving. under what they know best, because they also believe we can do it right here, even though 400 plus years we aren't doing it right here. Every goddamn city we built, every industry, ideas get stolen, all kinds of crazy shit happens to us. And every time something bad happens to us, we have the usual suspects justifying it. But when, we have random people who's tired of it, like me, you got Dawood, Hollip, Ronan Black, plus all other people in the BIO going, hey, we need land infrastructure nationhood. We need to control our own shit. Same people that constantly cry about racism, constantly saying the white man is Thanos. If we can't, at the minute you go, hey, how about we think outside the box, which really isn't thinking outside the box, but how about we think outside our usual box? Motherfuckers have a visceral reaction to it. I don't understand why. And every 4 years, the WWE, which is the fucking presidential election that goes on for way too fucking long, in my opinion, like it should be like 3 to 6 fucking months of campaign. But anyway, then Negroes pretend to get serious. They pretend to get serious. They go, oh God. Every year they say we can't survive another admin of such and such, or we can't survive the Congress filled with this and that, but we've been here for 400 plus years, literally just surviving. We don't own our culture here, because every time we make something, other people take it. Remember I don't know if you guys remember the Fortnite thing. Fortnite was pretty much taking all the black dancers that came on and putting it in the game and not giving recognition to where they was giving it from. But if we had our own, we wouldn't have to worry about, somebody else taking things, because we could profit off of it. We could actually export it and make money off of it. Think about, everybody loves the Kung Fu films, right? Like Wu-Tang Clan, like we would come on with the rap and you hear lines from Kung Fu movies. You think the Asians is fucking upset other people, watching these films or dressing like fucking Kung Fu masters and shit and Shaolin warriors? No, because they control it and they have a home base of, operations, culture where they can practice that shit freely and they can sell it off to everybody else and make money for it. Where us here, cornrows is popping. Now Becky got some cornrows, but the black women that, do cornrows get told they need licenses and all other crazy shit. And when we go, hey, let's start something else, so you don't have to have a license to braid hair. What you talking about? We can't do that. What do you mean? We can't do that. Like, I don't know, people. It just becomes frustrating. After a while, it's just like for me, I just kind of become a little bit jaded about situations. Like when I see the videos of black people getting harmed on the street, it's all the time. And you go around on the thing is like social media is popping. So you go around social media or just talking to other fucking black people on the street. They always act surprised and raise, and they want to march and do all this other shit and get fucking civil rights relics to give speeches, and Messy Jesse and our FBI informant Sharpton is still fucking around and nothing changes. Like at some point we pretty much battered wives, and there's a shelter for us to go to, but as soon as you say, hey, maybe we should just get out of the situation, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can't do that. You can't leave the white man. What? Like you can't get away from some dude just beating you upside the head all fucking time? Why? Why not? Well, he gonna find you and they gonna send their secret agents and everything is an agent. It's like, fuck. Really? Like, black people can't do anything on their own? White people gonna send all their agents just to come at you? Like, honestly, I like white people would probably just be upset if we try and just leave en masse, but we're not gonna leave en masse. That's just not happening. Just, I would say like 1.5% of us would probably leave en masse. The rest of the 40 million would stay. And when we turn on our televisions or our smartphones, we would see them again crying about the same situations they choose not to leave from. After a while, when you get if you in a fight and you getting your ass whooped, maybe leave. I'm just saying, if somebody punching you in the face, and no matter how much you putting your guard up, them punches are still getting through, maybe it's time to run. For some reason, when you go, hey, run away. Nah, man, you ain't fighting. Fighting what? Then when you ask them how they fighting, this hamster wheel activism is, I'm gonna meet me at Zuccotti Park at 2 p.m. and we're gonna hold up signs real menacingly and hope these people stop punching us in the face. Yeah, like that. That's not working. I'm sorry, this is not Martin Luther King era. Honestly, that was to me allowing people to whoop your ass and hopefully appeal to somebody that has a conscience to go, well, maybe we should. No, honestly, why would you have to stay somewhere where they need a bill to treat you as a human? Then even when they pass the bill, is watered down. When the bill was like the civil rights bill was literally meant for you, but then everybody else just became included. Do you see the insanity? Or where they have amendments and constitutions, and all right, we're not going to have you chattel slaves anymore, but we're going to put chattel slavery in the 13th Amendment. So when we lock you up, we can then justifiably make you a slave. Why? Because it's in the 13th Amendment. Why stay someplace like that, or not, have a backup plan, or if shit really hits the fan, you can get the fuck out? I don't understand. Like, it's just, and constantly seeing the same hamster wheel shit and the same surprises to the things that aren't new. You just get jaded after a while. And yeah, well, it's been like an hour. Thank you guys for joining. Again, if you've been here from the beginning and you've seen The Hill, check them out. Like, it's really important we keep up on some political stuff so we know what's happening around us. Like, I'm not even saying you gotta be a part of any political party. I'm not. Like, if I had to take a political test, I'd land in the fucking independent category, because fuck both of these parties. They're not doing shit, let alone for their own. For white people, they definitely doing shit for black people, and all they really do, all the Democrats have, are identity politics, and that's crumbling, because look at their fucking nominee. He telling you, if you thinking about voting Trump, you ain't really black. So again, we got another white dude from this party saying some crazy racist shit, and the usual Negroes justifying this bullshit because they vote out of fear, not fucking policy. Which we have on the right is pretty much like make-believe fiscal conservatism and pretty much racism, which is in both parties. But the Democrats like to, oh, look, we're progressive. We'll have one or two black faces and still institute policies that fuck you over anyway, aka Bill Clinton era and Obama era, with him knowing that black people was getting beat the fuck down in the streets by Gestapo police. And what does he do? He passes the Blue Alert Act, or Blue Alert Act, where if you punch the cop in the face is now a federal hate crime. But even though that really doesn't happen. Then the right, again, you got the right, which is usually with their in-your-face authoritarianism, fascist bullshit, and calling fucking Nazis very fine people. That's all these parties have. Like, you're not getting anything from either party. Yeah, you have Michael Steele and the fucking Republicans, but then even he was like, well, these motherfuckers are kind of crazy. Honestly, like, if you listen to actually listen to Michael Steele speak, he's not that much of a coon. Like, he's pretty smart. But again, he was pandering to people who outwardly hate him, but he was just a right enough coon. So they're like, all right, Michael Steele, we'll deal with you. The left just, they'll put you up as long as you're the safe black person, right? And if you're gay, that's another point for you. And if you're a female, that's even more of a point. Or if you're an ultra feminine male, they love that too. That's all your points right there. So they'll put you up, prop you up, and go, hey, vote for us. And at the end of the day, you get nothing. Which, to me, the Democrats are more insidious than the GOP, because the GOP aren't really pretending they need your votes, while the right is pandering to shit and not giving you anything. Like, oh, look, gay, yeah, boom. Oh, yeah. Again, people, check out places like The Hill, Jimmy Dore, The Humanist Report, and a couple other like Jamal Thomas, Tim Black. I'm not saying you have to totally agree with them, but they usually have the news, and is not so much as Fox News type of news or MSNBC or CNN type of shit. Nobody's really controlling them. There's independent media. Honestly, independent media should be supported more than when you turn on a fucking TV. And you have the Gray Zone with Aaron Mate. Fuck the Majority Report. Fuck that guy. But yeah, the Gray Zone, they do real good work. And yeah, check those out. Just so you know what's going on. You can actually verify what they say. And it's cool to not belong to a political party. Honestly, black people don't owe any allegiance to any parties. TYT's. All right. Uzi won. I'm going to tell you about TYT. TYT started out awesome, right? I used to watch them all the time. TYT started out great. Then they got $20 million from Katzenberg, right? Fine, whatever. They got funding for independent media. You want to see independent media rise as they should. But then they started getting real neoliberal. Like they started, they were so Russiagate so hard. It was ridiculous. Like, mind you, Jimmy Dore used to be on TYT. He was affiliated with TYT when they had the Aggressive Progressive. The funny thing with that is TYT's main show was so hard Russiagate, and Jimmy Dore was coming on debunking them. Now, you would think they'd be like, all right, this is cool. But no, people started getting aggressive with Jimmy for debunking them. And when you actually did your research, because you don't take that shit on face value at all. Like even what I'm saying, you don't got to take it at face value. Look it up. We have Google. Jimmy Dore was doing his research. He got his own show. He started bringing people on like Bill Binney, the NSA, the best NSA code breaker, who pretty much said there's no way that all those the Hillary's emails could have been, hacked by Russia and all that downloaded in that short amount of time without any fucking traces left, right? You think TYT was like, yeah, that sounds legit? Nah, they pushed Russiagate even harder. Then after they got the $20 million, they fired a bunch of their reporters. What? Who the fuck fires all their on in field? You're supposed to be a news agency, right? You just got a huge sum of money to be able to even pay your people, to even pay them, and you're gonna fire them? Then now you really have nobody in the field. Yeah. Now moving on to Kyle Kalinske. Kyle, yeah, he got, he's independent media. He has good taste. What kind of irks me with Kyle though is that if you say anything slightly different from him, he blows the fuck up. Like his ego just comes all out of his fucking ass, right? And he was also a sheep herder to the DNC after 2016, and the DNC was found in the court of law saying that they can literally decide who the nominee is in a smoke-filled back room. This was in the court of law. It wasn't somebody just reporting it. It wasn't some Alex Jones shit where he growling behind a desk. But yeah, I'm not saying they don't do good work, but the way they go about this shit is like they gaslighting people into the wrong direction. So now you getting half the information, and then they never really they barely focus on. Maybe now it's different because I honestly stopped watching them after they started getting to the neoliberal shit and pushing Hillary out their ass, not real questioning her. They're just pushing the fuck out of Hillary. Then it was a little bit of Bernie Sanders, but really pushing Hillary once Hillary got the nominee after cheating Bernie Sanders out and helping the DNC cheat. Donna Brazile admitted to it. Debbie Wasserman Schultz from the fucking emails was found out to be a scumbag, and she cheated Tim Canova. Like, it's a whole fucking thing Woozy won. It's a whole thing. Like, it's a rabbit hole deep as fuck with that. But yeah, that's just why I don't really do TIT and Kyle Kalinske being a fucking sheep herder to a horrible party. So you gotta go to the DNC, because if you don't, yeah, you're not taking over the DNC. It's gone. It's fucking gone. Look what they did to Keith Ellison. He was too progressive. He wasn't even like ultra progressive. He wasn't some extreme left-wing guy. He was just slightly more progressive than Tom Perez. They was like, all right, we can't fully kick out Keith Ellison because then it's going to be too obvious and we look bad. So we're going to give him a meaningless seat. But then we got people like TYT and Kyle Kalinske like, yeah, we got to take over. No. On top of election integrity. Election integrity is a big thing that nobody really realizes, because you stand in line and you voting for people, I don't care who you really vote for. That's besides the point. But if you're gonna stand in line and waste your time, and an election is not even a holiday, so you got to get out of work or you get out of class, wherever, you got to take time out of your day to stand online for however long. Then you go into a booth or whatever the fuck they have you put in, right? It's not a paper ballot. For some reason, we can't do paper ballots. It's some computer. So many reports coming out with people actually recording. They press the button. So say if they're voting for, like, Abraham, he's a choice A, and I don't know, Cooties is choice B. You go on choice A, it's just switching you to the choice B. Then when people question the people who's running the polling places, half the time the people running the polling places don't know what the fuck is going on. They're handing out what's called provisional ballots like candy, which usually get thrown out. Then in places like California, even to vote, California is a blue state, right? So even if you want to register as a Democrat, fine, whatever. But if you make a mistake, a slight errors, a small joint in your report or anything, matter of fact, check out the Convo Couch, because they heavy on that. The Convo Couch is heavy on that. Or Nico House MCSC Network with Mikasa Sukasa, he was a fucking real toe cell, but he still does. He does good reporting too. When you have no election integrity, I don't care who you voting for. It don't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Nobody can get into these proprietary black boxes to see who's voting for who, and that's that. Well, it's good to hear TYT isn't on the same shit as they were before. So on your suggestion, I'll give them a listen again and see if I can stand, what they have to say. And or Anna was one of the biggest ones, because Tulsi Gabbard, I'm not saying she's the best candidate, but they were smearing her left and right. Tulsi ain't perfect. She got issues too, but they were just smearing the shit out of Tulsi left and right. So in shit like this, black people got to be objective. Fuck this. Is not the New York Giants against the Eagles or the Dallas Cowboys. It ain't the Yankees versus the Red Sox. This shit affects your life. And if you go to decide of all right, land infrastructure nationhood is for me, you gotta learn from the area you're in now, so we don't make the same political mistakes building something else, because it's no point. And if you're gonna go somewhere else and do the same nonsense again, no, not Sank, is Anna. It was Anna. I'm not saying Sank was. It was Anna and fucking Emma Vigeland. Those two. Sank was just pretty much, he had to be forced into letting the other people at TYT behind the scenes unionize, because he was like, nah, I'm not really a union person, because he's a capitalist to his bones. So yeah, Woozy, I'll definitely check out TYT. I'll type them in again. I'm not gonna subscribe to them, but I'll type them in again, see what they've been on, how they've been reporting shit. Like I said, the other people, like Gray Zone, Convo Couch, the Hill isn't really independent, but they do some good reporting every now and then. And even with them, you still look it up yourself. I'm like, all right, I can see what's going on. But honestly, MSNBC, CNN, all that, it's bad to say, is horrible. But Trump is actually correct when he says fake news. He says it for the wrong reasons, because he don't like when they call out his bullshit. But honestly, fake news is an actual fucking thing. He actually has a point when he says fake news. But I've rambled on for long enough, people. It's been an hour and 13 minutes. If you guys just got here, shameless plug. Love the shameless plugs. Like, share, subscribe. Mostly share. Hit the BAIO website. And I do podcasts. I didn't put one up Thursday because my keyboard took a crap, and I had to unfortunately give money to Jeff Bezos to get another one through Amazon, because no computer stores around my way are actually open yet. Thank you, Woozy. I want to try and improve on the broadcast. And I have a podcast on podbean.com at the Black Mr. Wilson. Also follow me on Instagram at Black Mr. Wilson, and the Twitters at the Black Mr. Wilson. I post my podcast episodes there too, and I'll probably do maybe 1 or 2 this week. I got a podcast a little bit easier because I can sit down and type out a script and add and remove some things and add more information, where when you get the live broadcast like this, sometimes it's a little clunky, at least for me, because I haven't really had to do this in a while. Other than like my Blog Talk Radio days where I actually had co-hosts with Jay Dill and Miss Sophie. Hopefully those guys are doing well. But hey, people, if you're just joining now, rewatch it from the beginning and have a good night. Have a good holiday, I guess, if you remember to have a good holiday. Stay safe out there.